Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Clement Kwok and I'm a Senior Knowledge Analyst based in the BCG Singapore office. My core expertise lies in the metals and mining space, which actually includes having a knowledge about extraction of metals from the ground to processing it all the way to marketing and sales. I'm joined here today with my colleague and friend Jeffrey Tan.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeffrey Tan, a knowledge analyst based in the Singapore office. I'm a core member of the Building Materials and Construction Global team, and I cover a broad range of building materials and construction topics globally. So I joined BCG in 2016, so it's been close to 2 years working in BCG.
So now we actually spend the next 20 minutes first to actually give you a brief background of how the knowledge team is in the industrial goods practice area, or how we commonly or fondly call it IG, following which we actually share more about the perks of working in BCG and of course the amazing culture here.
So from there, we'll answer some of the commonly asked questions of our group. So let's get started. So I believe this questions is what many candidates are actually looking forward to. So why do you choose BCG, and what was your path to your current role?
Yeah, so really good question. Thanks, Jeff. So I actually studied engineering while I was in the university, and I guess in the process of when I was actually finalizing my patent in my final year, I actually managed to actually do a little deep dive, research a little bit more about about the commodity space. And I guess it really got me intrigued and I really want to understand a bit more of how commodities plays in the world. And to me, it's actually indispensable. Now that I'm in it, it's absolutely indispensable. So while I actually began my career with a global price reporting agency, I was given the opportunity to join BCG. Took it up, no regrets, and definitely one of the best decisions I've ever made. So how about you, Jeffrey? How was your path to joining us?
I'm actually a chemical engineer by training. So before joining BCG, I was actually working for a Singapore-based industrial conglomerate for 3 years. So during the period, I was actually posted to Hong Kong and China. So I actually exposed to a lot of international topics in the building materials and construction. And I was doing like corporate development work, like due diligence in this particular topic. So, and I was given this opportunity to join BCG, and here I am today. Yeah. So, like what you mentioned earlier, no regrets.
For sure.
So maybe we also like to ask you, for those who might not know, what is the knowledge team in relation to the industrial good practice?
So it's a really good question, Jeffrey. So, you see, in BCG itself, there are actually many different pillars or many different practice areas. For example, you have like consumer goods, you actually have corporate development, and in this case, we actually have like industrial goods as well. So, but within industrial goods practice, there are actually many different sectors. So one sector would include like automotive, you have chemicals, and for Jeffrey in this case, is actually in the building materials space, whereas for me, I'm actually in the metals and mining space. So as part of the knowledge team, we actually act as thought partners. We actually spar with our clients, spar with our consulting team, ramping them up in this space, teaching them the 101s about how the industry mechanics is like. And actually, and sometimes we actually have opportunities to actually author thought articles, both internal publications as well as external publications. So a good example I was sharing with Jeff as well is that I recently managed to be part of the authorship team to actually do in-depth analysis of battery materials in a very reputable journal within my industry. So this is kind of like the quick overview of what we actually do. So maybe Jeffrey, would you like to add on more? Like how would your team actually partners with other
I truly agree with you. We act as thought partners to them. At the same time, I think we're actually the go-to person in our particular, for me, it's a building materials topics. And we also do deliver key insights and our point of view on the topic as well for the team. So I think the most important thing about working with the consulting team is to make your life easier. So, we try to add value and create impact in the case team itself. Yeah. So maybe since we talk so much about knowledge team and all this, so maybe you would like to share how large is the team and where are they located?
Yeah. In BCG, we actually pride ourselves in actually being a very agile firm, as well as the fact that we're actually really lean. And just within the knowledge team, in terms of the mining sector alone, there's actually about 5 of us. straddle across from Singapore all the way to the US. So, but that said, we actually have a very strong theme of researchers that actually helps to provide a lot of like data research, a lot of like sourcing in terms of like, for example, if we need research services, they're always there for us and actually have to plug in certain gaps in which we have to fill. So this is how it is currently structured.
Okay.
So, but that's it. Let's move on. Maybe Jeffrey, could you share more about how maybe a recent case staffing or how your knowledge was actually leveraged or how you were actually placed in the team to actually in how your expertise was really tapped upon?
So maybe I would like to share a recent case where I was staffed on a vendor due diligence case based in Paris. So the very first thing I did was actually to onboard the case team because I think a lot of them are actually very new to the industry. So actually based and leverage on my previous experience to direct them to the right set of metrics and materials as well. So as Singaporeans, we are effectively bilingual in both English and Chinese language. So the project leader actually tapped on my expertise in this, my command of Chinese language to conduct interview in Chinese with the Chinese clients of the clients. So at the end of the whole interview, I actually produce a quality output for them to be used directly in client case discussions and deliverables. So I think this is how I created an impact from a KT point of view. So maybe since I already talked so much about case, so maybe you'd like to share which case you are most proud of during your time at BCG.
So I've actually been in BCG almost coming close to 4 years, and I dare say that I've been staffed on many different cases, and each case is really unique. And it's really hard for me to actually say that which one case I really love the most. All of it I really enjoy myself in. It's fantastic. Super intelligent clients that are actually able to give a lot of thought partnership with me as well, and then we actually challenge ourselves and as well with really strong consultants that are able to think, and amazing how they can actually ramp up so fast. But I guess what I really want to say is that there is this one particular product that from a case that we actually built upon is that within BCG we actually develop our own recursive modeling of how we actually have a look of how prices will look like for a metal commodity the next 10-20 years up to 2030 2040 as well. So it actually involved a lot of expert interviews both with our own internal partners, principals, as well as our even senior advisors within the firm, as well as a lot of external interviews with experts that have been in the industry for many years. So it's a lot of alignment with them, a lot of primary research, having a really in-depth understanding of the commodity, and then forming this opinion, looking at supply drivers, looking at demand drivers, and also incorporating different scenarios. So this is really one of the amazing experience, and definitely one of the best experience, because when you actually bring it all together, it's amazing how we actually team so well as a firm across all different geographies. So yes. So let's move on to more generic questions, shall we?
Definitely.
How's work-life balance for you?
I think both of us are very fortunate to have very supportive and understanding team managers. So in the event that we are actually swamped by heavy workload, our team manager will actually help us to prioritize our work. So I think that's a really good thing to do. And on top of that, I think we work hard, but we play even harder.
Absolutely.
So I think we have this annual, off-site where all the colleagues from the different regions will come together to, share about their experience and network with them. So I think this is something we look forward to as well annually. And on top of that, I think time is flexible as well.
Yeah. I definitely, maybe I'll just weigh in here as well. I think I absolutely agree with you. We have a fantastic manager, and she's really understanding. She's actually she spends time to actually sometimes, for example, if we are met with certain roadblocks, potential blockers, she actually spends time to actually sit down with us, encourage us, and actually discuss about how we can go about it. Likewise, she's also very flexible in the sense, for example, maybe the past couple of weeks has spent late nights actually working on the particular product or perhaps maybe developing certain tools. She's actually, and then we actually tell her, look, I'd like to come in a bit later the next couple of days, and she's super open to it. So And what's amazing as well is like, for example, let's say when you're on a case as well, you can actually align with your project leaders, with your principals, certain time block out so that they actually will leave you, they actually respect your time off, allow you to actually spend time with your family, your friends. So work-life balance in BCG, definitely not an issue with such an open community and such an open culture. So definitely love it.
Yes, I truly agree with you. So maybe Clement, you would like to share, what foundational skills make someone an attractive candidate for this team?
Yeah. So I think for this one, we actually look for three things in a candidate. First one is actually someone that's able to think critically. I mean, you must understand that our clients actually ask us really, really difficult and challenging problems. They don't give you easy ones. And that really stretches your thinking. And definitely we're looking for someone that's able to think very methodological, come out being very resourceful, being able to think critically of how you actually arrive at an answer and how you actually brainstorm, and strong teaming as well. So thinking critically is really important. Secondly is about adaptiveness. Adaptiveness can be two ways. First and foremost, for example, you have to fly the next day to actually for a client meeting. That's how adaptable with your time schedule, how you actually work around it, or how you actually plan your schedule around this sudden change. Secondly as well, we need to be adaptive as a person when you actually team with different people from different geographies. And this is something that's very important because teamwork in BCG is something that really makes us really strong as a firm when we stand together.
Yes.
And last but not least, I'd say someone that's actually open to feedback. In BCG, there's something really unique is because we actually have this thing called upward feedback in which we can actually have certain alignments with our project leaders, with our managers, share with them how we can align in terms of processes and how we actually move forward. So I think these are more or less, I would like to summarize three things that we're really looking for in a candidate. Yeah. So maybe Jeffrey, do you have any advice as well for the candidates that are listening in? Like, how would you think a candidate should prepare or for an interview here?
I think they should be mentally prepared to solve a case on the spot, because I think the interviewers will actually test them on their technical expertise and their thought processes.
Absolutely.
Be calm, humble, and be yourself, because I think interviewers are smart enough to know whether you are overdoing it. And last but not least, be patient, because typically you have to go through a minimum of 3 to 4 rounds of interviews as well. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think maybe we shall move on to answer some commonly asked questions we receive from candidates. So I think this question is very important, especially to the audience out there. How does our team get staff on projects?
So, well, actually, getting staff on projects, I mean, I would actually like to say that it's a huge shout out and a huge thanks to our sector leadership that's always been so supportive of actually having them on the cases as thought partners, as individuals that actually able to bring value to the table because we have an understanding of the industry since they've been in it for quite a long while. So definitely special shout out and thanks to our sector leadership for always being so willing to actually engage us on cases.
Yeah.
Secondly, I would actually like to say that I don't deny that being staff on cases would actually be a function of how long you've been in BCG. What I mean by that is because once you've worked with a certain project leader, a certain principal, a certain partner with many cases, right, they would actually understand your working style, the way you think, and the way that you actually approach a problem. And I think because of that, once you've actually built up your credentials by working with on their cases, they'll be more than willing to staff you on their cases. So definitely not an issue on that. Yeah. Okay. Maybe Jeffrey, would you be able to break down for us what like some of the core responsibilities in your role?
I think I spend about 30 to 40% of my time on case and proposal support, another 30% on content development, where we come up with new knowledge products for BCG in a sense that for the firm. For example, we have the greenhouse guides for the different types of building materials. We have like cement, we have like aggregates, S4, etc. It's actually to give this like a dummy 101 in a sense for the consultants to ramp up in, especially in an area they are new in. So, and the remaining time more on like self-improvement. For example, like attending like internal trainings offered by the BCG Knowledge Academy, or external conferences to get up-to-date information or trends of building materials and construction.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, Clement, how much time is dedicated to intellectual property development for the practice area along with proposal work?
So I would say that off case, right, we spend about 50-60% of time actually developing this tools, this intellectual tools, intellectual products. I mean, this is one of the product offerings that we actually have. And it's amazing because we actually bring in all our past experiences as well as from all the different interviews with different experts internally, externally. So like I mentioned earlier as well. So I think this is definitely, spend quite a considerable amount of time to build this up. We do benchmarks as well, conduct our own internal benchmarks to actually understand what's the state of the industry, how is it like, and so these are more or less a high-level overview of how we actually, what the IPs that we actually develop and what we actually do. Remainder of the time, yes, I agree, we actually spend time with doing proposal work with our partners, sometimes even going with our partners to actually go for proposals to share with them what are different product offerings that we have in BCG. Other times, we should spend time going for, we go for conferences to make sure they're actually kept abreast of the current industry, make sure we're always up to date and know what's going on. And also, like I mentioned, also it's about, we actually get to author thought pieces that is actually shared through maybe like a flash note or a market update internally as well as externally as well. So that's more or less how actually I would break down my time.
Okay.
So, maybe Jeffrey, could you share how long is a typical case usually?
I think it really varies from case to case. For at least for my side, based on my own experience, it's about 2 to 3 weeks. And I recently heard that you were staff on a case for some time, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to share with the audience more about this case?
Yeah, for sure. So, it's really fortunate that I was working on this case that I was there for several months, and I think what's really amazing about it is definitely, like I've mentioned time and again, it's about teaming, and I cannot emphasize more. Here in BCG, really pride ourselves in diversity, being able to team together. The clients were amazingly smart, super intellectual. They were actually able to spend time, sit down with us, align with us, and they actually, I think we really managed to have a very good cadence among ourselves, and we actually spent some time delivering good quality when we actually had to showcase during the steer call, and I guess I really enjoyed the whole process, working alongside consultants as well as our clients, a lot of client-facing time, understand what they do in their jobs also, and also understand how they actually achieve success in their workplace. So I guess all these are key learnings and winnings that I actually learned, which is invaluable skills. So
Cool.
maybe Jeffrey, could you share with us how does travel look like for you?
I think I spend about 10 to 20% of my time traveling. So it could be for case staffing overseas, or it could be attending external conferences or internal trainings. So I think this year we're actually looking forward to our IG Worldwide meeting, where we actually do knowledge and case sharing and our success stories around the world globally in a team. So so I think this year will be held in France.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely to weigh in on that, I mean, really super excited. It's really an amazing opportunity for all of us that is in the industry, in this case, industrial goods industry, that we all gather together in one place, share our successes, share our wins, celebrate it together, and that really makes it such a wonderful opportunity to actually put a name to the face. Sometimes we work with people across the globe, and it's a rare opportunity that we actually can gather at one particular time, sharing, and the synergies is really empowering. So that's fantastic. So I guess that comes to the end of our conversation. So thank you very much for joining us.
And we hope to see you again on a future chat.
For sure.